Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
No, it's still morning for you, Mal.
It's
It's
11
bright
in
and
the morning.
early.
Mal, I'm upset that we're 3 hours apart now. That's criminal.
Oh, because in Colorado we were only 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It did make a difference, I think.
He made a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to keep that in mind in future moves.
Yeah. Someone will have to think about that.
Someone here.
Wow.
Someone.
Okay. I feel like I'm being railroaded. Welcome to Fuck Wellness. I am Mallory.
I am Lara.
And I'm Makena, and Douglas is really drinking water quite loud, so you probably can hear him. But
Yeah, Fitz is biting on his bone quite loudly too. So
Yeah, I have a
it's
dog
okay.
here too. He's, oh my God, shh, be quiet.
a quick warning before we start is that I am currently in the mountains with spotty internet. So if I come out or go out, the plan is that Lara and Mal keep the show going.
Yeah. Well, Ken, do you want to do your updates first? Because it seems pretty good right now. And we just don't know how long that will last.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Guys, I honestly don't think that we have time for me to do my updates. Like, I really don't think that we do.
No, but see, I don't have that many updates. So I would love to just spend this entire pod on your updates if needed.
No, okay, well then you guys give your updates first.
No, well, I mean, maybe Lara wants to. I don't. I feel
No,
like
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get my journal because the way that I tell you, I know I say this all the time, but like I am a new woman. I am completely a new woman, and I need you guys to believe that.
Yes, I believe it every time you say it.
I believe it
Thank
every time you say it, especially right now. You look ethereal.
Yeah,
which
you
I'm
do.
like,
Oh my God, I thought
rebirth.
I was looking really tired.
No.
So thanks.
No.
I slept so hard last night.
Good.
Okay, let's get into it. So I have a whole notes page for this, and I
Okay.
tried to put it in order because sometimes I feel like I can ramble and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I tried to make this make sense. First of all, before I share very intimate details about my life, I feel like we should review and have a quick little conversation about how we each approach maybe sharing news on the podcast, because I feel like I've had some people comment to me like, "Oh, well, some episodes you don't like tell the whole story, so it just feels like the three of you know what's going on, but like other people don't," which I totally understand. But I also reflecting, I feel like we're pretty honest on here as much as we can be, and I feel like the times that we're not honest, it's just because it's out of respect for other people that didn't not that we're not honest. The times that we don't give the full story, it's out of respect for other people that didn't sign up to have their news on the internet live forever.
We also don't owe anyone anything.
Oh my
just
God,
really,
so true.
I just
so
always
true.
go back to this. Like, you're choosing to listen to this podcast. If you are angry or upset or offended that we're not telling the whole story, go find a different podcast. Like,
No, but we also love you, so
yeah,
stay here.
like, yes, but also, I mean, we're gonna share what we're comfortable with and out of respect for the people in our lives. So I don't know. There definitely tell literally all podcasts out there, and I feel like it's important for us to be honest about the fact that like we're doing this podcast because we love to do it and we enjoy it and we like the people who listen, and but this is not our job. Like, this is just fun for us, you know?
Well, that's the other thing is it's like this is not our full-time job, so
No.
you gotta be a little bit careful.
But even if it
Anyways.
was, I feel like it's always super important. Like, as you were saying, if someone doesn't give consent to be a part of this podcast, we're not going to talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, I just wanted to make a note of that because I wanted to reiterate that what I share on the podcast, I feel for me personally, I'm pretty thoughtful about what I want to share and what I don't want to share. So even if it seems like sometimes my words are a little like confusing, I still have made the decision to share whatever I want to say. Yeah. And this applies to what I'm about to share as well. I do need to grab Douglas because he's going to bark right now. So just give me 1 sec.
Yeah. To be clear, we love you, but I'm also just not like, I don't really take the criticism of like, oh, you don't share enough or you don't tell the whole story. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I've also gotten it the other way where people listen and they're like, wow, like you guys were very, very honest
I
about.
get that way more than the other.
Yeah,
like,
me
I get
too.
that way more, but it's
Yeah.
more like them being like, wow, you were so honest about this one thing that was happening in your life, which is like, yeah, we'll go as deep as we want into our shit.
Yeah. And there's definitely topics that I feel like we are more willing to deep dive than others. And that's like a natural human condition, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Completely.
also this friendship is special. There's stuff about my life that I would just kind of prefer for you guys to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, that disclaimer out of the way. All of my changes happened this week, which it feels like I've lived 2 years in 1 week. And at the beginning of this week, this will come out later, but it's my birthday on Monday.
Wait, say that part again, Ken.
Okay, we're back.
You're good. So just say that part again.
So all the changes happened in this week, that part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, my birthday was on Monday, and the day before on Sunday, I had this day that ended with just so much rage in my body, like so much rage in my body. And then it went into my birthday, and birthdays are always just a lot of reflecting time, I feel like, for me, and I think for most people, but whatever, big feelings all the way around. And then on Tuesday, I had therapy. And so this was like a quick 1, 2, 3 punch. And at therapy is where most of this started being really unpacked. And we started talking about the like financial stuff. I told her the story of our podcast and what you had suggested, Mal, and how I had reacted, and how like these younger parts of me feel so activated. And then the conversation that I had with my boss, and all the things I told her, and she was really helpful. And we talked, that was like the top of them. Like, I don't know. We hadn't even gotten to like the juicy stuff when we were talking about that, but it was still impactful. And one of the things that she said about my boss, which I really appreciated, was she was like, you have never experienced someone wanting to co-create safety with you in this way, in terms of like an authority figure, someone wanting to like help me co-create that safety in my life, which I thought was really a cool way to put it. But the thing that she said, she's like, I keep coming back to this question for you, which is like, do I deserve this? Am I deserving of this? Which is so basic, but makes so much sense. So part 1, we talk about financial stuff. And I come to the conclusion of asking myself the question, do I deserve this? Any thoughts so far?
So I don't think I heard much about what conversation you had with your boss this week.
Yeah.
About money. But wait, can you loop me in on what that was?
Yeah, basically he just was checking in and being like, after our recent conversation, how are you feeling about things? Like, we can chat more about this. Let's keep this conversation going. I want to make sure that you are feeling good about money.
Okay, so was the question of, am I deserving of this? Am I deserving of the amount that I'm currently getting, or am I deserving of asking for more from him?
Kind of both, or even him offering more in a way of being like okay with that. Because my body is like unsafe, like not okay. Yeah.
And do you feel like the unsafety or the unsafe part of it is like, oh shit, if I ask for more, will he like drop me?
No, I think that there's part of me that's scared of that, but I think primarily it's just a feeling that I'm not used to. I think that the concept of having one job and being able to pay my bills with one job is ludicrous in my mind and body. Like, it's just, I don't even feel like it's real.
Yeah, it just feels so foreign that it's like, oh, well, that's not real. That's unsafe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely. Plus, in combination with obviously these parts of myself that are being really activated that have deeper wounds to be looked at in these scenarios.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we also, on the piggybacking off of that, my therapist and I kind of worked out this other question, which is like, will the world crumble if I do ask for help? So
I relate to that question so deeply.
figured you would.
So deeply.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is just my life's question.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And the answer is
Okay.
yes, folks.
Yes. No, the answer is no.
Of course it's no.
Okay. All right. The next part that I'm going to explain is not as organized. And so bear with me here, but I'm going to try my best. So let me just review my notes for just one quick second. Okay. I'm going to take you through my therapy session because I think that's the easiest way to explain how I got to the conclusions I got to. But we talked about the financial stuff and we did like all the work around that. And then we started going into romantic relationships and like physical touch and disconnect and just feeling like I'm disconnected from what I actually want and my behaviors that I'm doing and how they're not really aligning. And obviously this is all connected. So there's no part of this that's like, oh, we talked about financial stuff and then relationship stuff is completely separate, right? This is all in like one big world together. But we kind of came to this. Well, I don't even know how to like explain these things because it's just all these different thought bubbles. But I'm going to start talking about my safety in relationships because a lot of it comes down to safety. And I was talking about how in Jenner, I talked about this on the pod, how I was starting to feel like that warmth for people that I was then being like, oh, this is what normal people feel.
Is this what all people feel like?
Yeah. Not that I didn't feel warmth or love for people, but it was a new level of like vulnerability, I think, for me to be like, I am feeling something towards this person, right? Or to these people. And we talked a lot about how my hypervigilance in my life has caused this defensiveness,
So you broke out when you said my hypervigilance causes this defensiveness.
Okay. My hypervigilance caused this defensiveness and how just I'm on the defense all of the time. And this is this survival mechanism where even if I love this person dearly or there's just people in the world, I'm always observing and hypervigilant to their behaviors, to tally things that they're doing, to watch, to protect myself. Like it's just, oh my God. Did we
That one wasn't bad. It was like 1 second.
Okay. Anyways, to protect myself, this hypervigilance. And even when it goes against my values in a way of like, I don't want to be having this behavior towards these people that I love, it's still this like survival mechanism that's like putting me like, I'm just tracking information all of the time to if I ever got into a situation where someone turned on me. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in constant tracking mode.
Constant tracking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that also goes into like the physical touch stuff, which we can get into in a minute. But this directly relates to also the belief that I had that people were pretending to be my friend for a long time. And I don't know, one day I told Lara that like not too long ago. I know I've talked about it before, but she was like, do you really think that? She was like, I'm your friend. And then I started like literally bawling. I was like, I knew that, but I like didn't know that. And so it was just like such this weird like part of my body that's, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it with words, which is why this is hard. Thank you guys for letting me stumble through this.
We're here for it.
Thank you.
And we're both your real friends. We're not pretending.
Yeah, I was
we're
like,
not
no
pretending.
Yeah, no one's paying me. I'm good.
Well, but I know that probably if you're listening to that, you can hear that sentence and be like, that sounds absurd.
No.
But it's like a true belief that I felt like in my body.
You are definitely not the only one who has felt that way too.
No. Okay. I sometimes feel that way when I think about how amazing my friends are. And I'm like, wait, what am I bringing to the table? I will literally ask myself that sometimes where I'm like, wait. And it's not like I think that they're being fake, but I'm just like, wait, what is happening? This equation isn't adding up.
Yeah.
Ugh, why are brains the way that they are?
For survival, bitch.
Yeah. Okay, all of this to say, and I don't want to cry, but I wish I had a more eloquent way of saying this, but we talked a lot about how there were wounds in my life that were caused by other people that can be healed, not in the same type of relationship. So I don't know, just for if you're listening, like in trauma healing, let's say you had a wound caused by a partner in a romantic relationship, though that healing can happen through healing does have to happen through relationships, but it can happen through different types of relationships. So your relationship with your friends or your family or whatever it is. And she just like kept pointing out all the ways that you guys have just are like literally helping me heal like these big boy deep wounds in my body. And I'm going to cry, but I'm just very thankful for that before I continue.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am gonna cry because you saying that is so nice, and also Fitzy being the fucking cutest little puppy right now. Dogs help heal wounds too, so thanks, Douglas.
Exactly.
See what we do.
Okay, so then I kind of got onto this part of physical touch where I've started to feel this amount of warmth, but it's kind of like the scales had to balance where I'm no longer numb all the time. And so this increase of warmth, there's also an increase in other stuff, which to me is coming through as like disgust with men. And so she was like, that makes total sense. That makes total sense because you can't have just like, you can't feel one and not the other, right? Like you got to feel both.
Even out.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that a lot of that disgust is manifesting in spaces with men specifically, and spaces that I don't feel safe in, and spaces that I was previously just able to like plug into a role to get through for whatever, because I was getting something out of it too, right? Like none of this is just happening to me. Like I participate too. And
can you give an example or like of spaces that you might have had to play a role in?
Yeah, I think anytime that I feel like I override my body's wants or needs because a man wants to hook up or a man wants to do something, like it's hard to explain because I do feel like I'm so strong in other ways, but there are times where I just like, I don't know, don't speak up in the way that I want because it would lead to a disconnect or a severing of that relationship.
Yeah.
Or it's just easier after saying no so many times to just say yes.
Yeah. Totally.
Which is a very real thing. So I think there's just like a lot of layers there. And I think that there are experiences with men in my past that are basically illuminating experiences with men in my future, because the men in my present, because they're not really doing anything, but like there's all these years of backlogged shit that I'm then coming to this new man with, and they're just taking one step out of line, and I'm like, fuck off, dude. Like I have so much rage in my body. Yeah. So that's just kind of a lot to navigate, and it's just like leading to a lot of really uncomfortable moments in a lot of different ways. And I think what I've realized, and this is a big kicker, is that I feel like, and I'm just going to say, and we can debrief it, but I feel like I've failed at protecting and caring for myself in a way, and not in the way of like, I trust myself to survive, right? Like I fully trust myself and my body to survive, but I don't trust myself to take care of myself, which I think is the disconnect.
I think that totally makes sense. And I think you also have to think about how your life experiences have played a role in that.
Yeah. No, and I'm doing my best not to judge that because a lot of it was necessary.
Oh, fully. Yeah. I think most of it is like an adaptive behavior to your environment. And like, I can see why, you might be frustrated with yourself for that. But I think Yeah, I think it's all just behavior that was in response to coping.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then it had to become a pattern because it is what saved you
Yeah.
time and time
Yeah.
again.
Completely. Yeah. So I want to be clear that I'm not like hating on that part of myself. I feel like I'm coming to this conclusion with the most compassion I possibly could of like, you know that feeling when you have like a deep realization that you have to do something hard, like, oh, I have to end this relationship or I have to have this hard conversation. It was the same kind of feeling. It's like, oh, I haven't been doing this. It just like my body was finally safe enough in a way to recognize that it was like not receiving that. So that was an important thing. And then I haven't even gotten to like the biggest, most profound realization, which we're jumping back into my therapy session. At the very end of this very deep, very hard therapy session, this question came up to the top of my mind. And it's similar to, am I deserving of this? But the question that I asked or that came up was like, after talking about intimacy and physical touch and all of these things was, am I even capable of physical intimacy, like of true intimacy with someone? And not even in a romantic relationship, but like with my friends or I don't know. I wish that you could feel like my body behind my words, because that phrase, I'm sure, is just like not landing the way that I need it to land. But it's like this big question. And I just like completely broke down because I've just been operating on this belief of like, am I just the one that's broken that isn't ever going to be capable of this? Or is it just, I don't know, is that just impossible for me to expect out of life, or myself? And so that was kind of the biggest therapy conclusion.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I can't wait for you to write a book.
I think about that on the reg.
Like this is a lot of hard stuff to think about and process, but it's gonna make a real good memoir.
Well, I'm excited for that. Hopefully one day.
But not to minimize, like
No,
I
I
think that
didn't.
these are super important things and I'm glad that you're coming to them, but I I just think the questions that you're asking yourself are a lot of things that people are afraid to even get to as a
Yeah.
question. Like
Mhm.
probably myself included on that list. Like those are scary things to ask.
Yeah. It was one of
What?
the most like, sorry, Lara, just one of the most, I think, raw moments.
Mm. This is being so cute. Okay, you cut out when you said it was one of the most raw moments.
It was one of the most raw moments that I've ever had in therapy.
Damn.
Laura, I want you to hear what you were going to say.
I was just gonna ask what, like, I'm less the part about like, am I capable of like intimacy and stuff? I feel like that I maybe in your mind like intimacy looks a certain way when it comes to like friendship or relationships, but I feel like even in our friendship, like you are a very intimate person in other ways than maybe I'm intimate with y'all. Like, so I think that I'm more like, yes, of course you are capable of that. Maybe it will take like a lot more time and like comfort and like as you were saying, taking care of yourself instead of just surviving with yourself. And I'm just curious, like, what if your therapist or if you have like any reflections of how that's going to actually translate to your life of like how are we actually going to like care for Makena now?
Yeah. Well, I think to your first point about the friends is, I think it's important to remember that this question came from a Okay, I'm back.
Okay, this question
Sorry.
came from
This question came from a deeply wounded place in my body, and it wasn't a rational thought. So I feel like when I can rationally think about things, yes, I do feel like I show up in intimate ways with you too, right? Like there are, or some of my other friends, but it's very few people. And you're right. I think, Lara, it comes with safety. And so that's kind of the first part. And my therapist did a good job of, when I was in that raw, vulnerable state, of basically being like, I can tell you that because my question was like, have I just been pretending for so long that I'm just like, I don't even know what this is. I'm just pretending. Or am I like fundamentally broken about this? And she had to remind me like, no, you're that way with your friends and you're that way with me. And these, like, even if it was just two examples, she's like, it's possible. And so there was that level. But then your second question was like, how are we going to make this a practical kind of everyday thing? And in trauma healing, it's really important to go very slow with a lot of this, like slower than you think that you need to go. And I knew that intellectually, but my therapist did a really good job of being like, we are going to move very, very slowly with this. Like there is no rush to like flood yourself with needing to repair this and immediately. And it's okay that we take time. And so my babyest of baby steps is just to continue identifying when I feel the warmth feeling and continue identifying what safety feels like to me. Those are my homework steps.
Have you felt warmth recently at all? Any moments that have stuck out for you?
Yeah, more towards myself. I think I've been alone for quite a few days. So I think that's another aspect. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but I'll just talk about it now. Basically, then I went to my cabin on Wednesday, and this trip, normally I've never been to my cabin alone. And so that's a big deal. And it's in the middle of nowhere. So that's also another big deal. And I was trying to beat a snowstorm up here on Wednesday. And so I arrived about 45 minutes too late for the snowstorm. And so at my cabin, you can't drive up if there's snow on the ground, because they don't plow it all winter. They've actually been plowing this weekend, but it's still like icy and I didn't want to drive up the hill. And so when I arrived, I had to like do everything by myself. Like I had to walk up the hill. I had to pull all my stuff up the hill and with a sled. I had to like make 3 trips. And then when I get to the cabin, I have to like go down in the basement. I have to like close all the water valves, turn the water on, come upstairs, like, because it's all like winterized when people aren't here. And then I like lug all the logs in from, hold on. Do you hear my grandpa?
No.
Hold on one second. I have to respond on the walkie-talkie.
She's got to get her walkie-talkie out.
Hi, Big Dave. I'm good. I'm going to send you a message in about 15 minutes when I'm done with my meeting.
Okay. 10-4, Big Dave. Over and out.
Guys, can we have a walkie-talkie this time?
Yes.
No, it's so fun.
I literally want to download a walkie-talkie app onto our phones where that's just the way we communicate.
I would die if we did that. Also, I mean, when we eventually live in our giant like commune, I think walkie-talkies would be a great way of communication.
No, that's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to get through my story. I feel bad that I've been talking so much, but
Makena.
basically,
Makena, pause.
Reflect.
Take that out of your brain and put it away.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, pause for a little bit too long. Okay, yeah, we're done. We're done with the pause now.
All right.
And now go.
That was a great processing, McKenna. Great job.
Yes. I needed some extra time. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, I come up to the cabin and this is just like hard fucking work. Like the whole thing is hard. The cabin's freezing. I have to start the fire to like even get warm. I'm like physically exhausted from just the day. I started my period. So I'm literally like walking up the hill. I can like feel myself bleeding, but like at the same time, I feel so powerful. And I do all this stuff at the cabin, and then I settle in, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I'm here completely alone. Like I don't think that there's anyone for miles and miles. Right. So I'm like, now I'm scared. And so anyways, there was just this whole like physical effort and like survival thing that like scratched this itch in my body, and also this like pride that I had for myself for being able to do this, because a lot of my family like won't come up here unless it's with my grandpa or my uncle, and just because it's like hard, like it's much easier for them to be here, and then they can get a snow machine, and then they can get you, and it's just more comfortable. And so this was just all on me, and I think it was the best thing that ever could have happened, because I was able to like show myself, I don't know, like work through all these big thoughts that I had in my head with like these very like physical things. And it just felt really, really good. And I don't know, it's just like this feeling of like, I did it. And one of the times that I was doing I think I was walking up the hill, I had this thought, and I was just like, this overwhelming feeling of like, I can take care of myself. Like I had just this huge sense of warmth. And I was like, as though I was talking to myself, and the part that previously has never felt care from people, being like, I have you, like I can take care of you. Like just this huge recognition of that and not the survival. Like I got that. It's like, I can put you first, and I can take care of you. And it was just a very big thing.
I really love that, Ken.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting, like the juxtaposition of the snowstorm and the warmth.
Yeah,
you know,
true. There's a lot of themes going on.
Because like you quite literally made yourself warm too.
Yeah.
Like physically and emotionally.
Oh yeah. That's all I have really. I feel kind of empty a little bit, because I just, when you just want to explain something so perfectly, and it's just like never going to be explained so perfectly in words.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
I know. But I want everyone else to know.
Well, that's why you'll write your memoir. And we'll figure out the words by then.
I definitely can write this better than I can speak it.
That's how I feel about everything.
Yeah. Lara,
do you have to, I have a question. Do you have to like do it all in reverse when you leave?
Yeah, except Big Dave came up yesterday. So I was basically alone for 2 days by myself, and then I'll be here with them for 2 days. So he can kind of like check my work for winterizing it.
Nice.
Yeah. I know. I'm so proud of myself. Also, Mel, I sent this in a Snapchat so you wouldn't have seen it, but like my Big Dave and my uncle, they both called me, and they like my uncle was like, I'm proud of you. And I was like, oh my gosh, thanks. Like, and Big Dave was like, really good job, because it's hard. Like, it's not always fun to do this, but it's fun once you're here.
Yeah, I mean, and this is really good prep for when we have our own mountain cabin and we need to figure out how to winterize it. So this is really, really good. I'm glad that you're learning. Prep.
I'm learning.
But also like definitely you do have that thing in your body that's like the big prep,
No, we can't.
The prepper prep.
Lara?
And I feel like this did scratch an itch of being like, yeah, I can do that shit. Like,
yeah, I did scratch an itch. Yeah.
But I want to talk about, can I talk about how scared you are?
Oh my God, I was so scared the first night.
Yeah. Like, how do you feel like that, like, went with, like, do you think you're going to go do this again, like, by yourself, like, do trips like this? Or do you feel like that was a deal breaker?
I think I would. I think I would always prefer to have someone else here.
Yeah.
Like when my grandpa arrived, I felt my whole body was like, whew, like we're good. and it was midweek and it's like, it was snowing. So there just was no one else up here. I went on a walk on the second day and there was one other person down the road a bit, and that was it.
Yeah.
What were your biggest fears?
Being murdered.
No, that's relatable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not like dying from the weather. It was
no.
like another person.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah. I like had so many intrusive thoughts. I was like, there are people that are going to see my snow boots in my tracks, and they're going to see there's only one set of snow boots, and they're going to see my fucking chimney. That's the only one that's going in the area. And they're going to see, there's no lights out here. They're going to see my like kitchen lights, and then I'm going to be a target. And every scary scenario that I was going through, I had to make myself a drink. This was like, I was like, it was so bad for two reasons. One, so growing up here, like I remember my grandpa coming in after like a long day of like working hard or like fixing sheds or like splitting wood and being like, I just want a whiskey, kind of like he just wants to sit down by the fire with a whiskey. And that is literally how I felt at the end. I felt like my grandpa. I was like, oh, I am my grandpa's like blood, because I walked in the door after like hauling all this shit in, and I was like, I need a fucking drink like right now. And I never,
McKenna has like never said.
literally, like I have my like biannual urge to like have a little party time, but like I never have the urge to like sip on a drink like ever. And so this is new for me. And then I started getting scared, and that's when I made myself a drink. Yeah. But yeah, I would prefer if someone was with me next time.
I'll come.
Yay. You would like it, Mal. It's really pretty and quiet.
I know. I already just like the vibes behind you. I don't even need to see anything else.
No, I know. And being here in the snowstorm was nice, and it all turned out okay. But the first night I was like, maybe I made a mistake coming here, and I'm just like prematurely ending my life because I fucking came to that is how scared I was.
Ken.
I was really scared. Yeah. So that's all my updates, but I feel like a new person in more ways than one. And I feel like I have had an initiation of sorts with this. Like this cabin experience was a good way to embody a lot of the big feelings that I was having. Yeah.
Lara, do you have any updates?
My updates. What are my updates? I think that so I've finished like 2 weeks now of working at Trader Joe's, and there is this weird thing that I've noticed myself doing at work where, because I feel like my previous jobs have had like an element of like go, like a little bit of like a stress, like time sensitive element. It's been really hard for me to like work at literally a fucking grocery store and not like apply that same urgency to my job. And I was training with someone, and he was kind of like, I think he could sense that I was doing that a little bit. And he was just like, I do everything in my power to make this job as chill as possible for me. Like I will do my work, but like if I ever find myself like getting stressed, like checking out a lot of people when there's a rush or whatever, like literally just like slow down. There's no reason to like take this shit too seriously. And I feel like I've been doing that so much with just like the last 2 weeks, or even like with my schedule. Like I had initially said that I could work super early hours, and then I did not feel safe doing so. Like my commute there was just like scary. And it took so much pumping myself up to go talk to my supervisors and be like, I need to change my hours. Like Because again, it's literally like I need to chill out a little bit. But it's just been funny to see myself like try and apply that same stress when it's like, no, I literally changed jobs so that I wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. I
Not
think
life and
some of
death.
that is a bit of like a default that you have though, too. So
Yeah.
I think it goes past just your last couple of jobs.
I know.
But I think this is good. And I also think it's good that it seems like other people are kind of reminding you that that doesn't need to be how it is.
Yeah. I think everyone is really conscious about that. Even the management team is very much like, yeah, of course you can change your hours. Like, you know.
Laura, I have a question about this.
Yeah.
So it was kind of always your plan to still be like with Trader Joe's, it was also going to be like tattooing and also still putting feelers out for other jobs while this
Yeah.
is like your interim time. And I'm wondering if it's affected at all your process of looking for other jobs and if you're finding yourself being like trying to grab on or apply to other things that might give you that sense of like urgency. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I think that the jobs that I'm applying for and interviewing for outside of Trader Joe's aren't ones that there would be urgency, but they are ones where there would be more, I think, creativity than what because I think like tattooing, obviously, it's an artistic creativity that I like to, play around with, but I feel like they're just jobs where I would just have more agency and more creativity in like how I deliver something for the job. And in Trader Joe's, like it's really fun work. Like I really, really enjoy it, but it's mostly just manual labor and being nice to people. But I also, it's weird, like I was feeling really, really tired last week because I worked my shift at Trader Joe's and then I had to get to Oakland to do like this hour-long job interview, which is too long for an interview. But my whole walk home, I was just like saying hi to everyone on the streets of San Francisco. And I was like, Lara, I would never have done this before, but I literally think it is a byproduct of me working at Trader Joe's, where I'm just
Oh my
like,
gosh.
hi, everyone. Like, you look beautiful today.
Customer service, but like in real life interactions.
But also, like, again, I need to chill out. Like,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess if that's the worst thing that comes from your job at Trader Joe's,
truly.
I think you'll be okay.
I think that's okay too. Yeah. I do, for a later episode, because we don't have time right now, I do want to talk about a job that I did apply for and did not get. And you two will know that it is at a certain fitness institution that we were talking about.
Wait, you didn't get the job?
Whole episode.
I did not get the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bitches.
No. I'm also seeing at Trader Joe's people who work at that institution and hiding from them. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Tell all is coming.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Lara, I don't want this to be offensive to you because that would have been cool if you had that job, but like I kind of feel like it's a blessing in disguise.
I feel so blessed that I did not get the job.
Wait, let's just do a deep dive into that place.
Yeah,
I bet I could find some shit on them.
We're gonna deep dive.
Okay,
but I still feel like we can't say the name. Like people will know who we're talking about, but I still like, I don't want to get sued. Like they have lawyers.
For sure. Yeah. We can be subtle. We can find a name that rhymes.
Yeah. No, we can tell the true experience of what Lara and I experienced and then what Lara experienced in a more professional setting. And both were not okay.
Yeah. But also like back to the blessing part, like I saw the email that I didn't get the job and I was literally like, I wanted to look up at the universe and be like, thank you. Like literally, thank you for watching out for me. I know that the perks of getting the job were like, so it was a way to get a place to work out, which is something that I feel like we've been craving. And it was a good solution to that. But other than that, like, holy shit, I think I would have been unhappy. And the space in my life and in my time is not there, really. Like, so I don't know. Fitzaroni, you love your mama so much. Oh my God, he's so cute.
Yeah.
He is so snuggly.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Well, friends, I got somewhere to be.
Lara's plans.
It's my Sunday, so I'm gonna go have a day.
After these plans, will you just like text us an update?
Yeah, of course.
Please. The only thing I was just gonna say is that Fitz and I almost got in a car crash this morning. And honestly, I think that's why he's being so cuddly, is because it was like very traumatizing for him.
A little scared.
Yeah. Basically I was just driving and then these two cars, like another car was trying to merge in front of the car in front of me, and all of a sudden they both just stopped. Fitz, you can't spell the mic. And so I slammed on my brakes, and Fitz was like right behind the center, like in the back seat, but like between the two seats. And he flew in between the two seats and hit the front passenger
my
seat,
God.
like where the airbag would be.
He
I
needs
like,
a seatbelt.
yeah, I don't really know how that works. I got to figure that part out.
I can give one to you, Mal.
Yeah, can you send that? Because I actually he didn't hit it as hard as he could have, because I was able to somehow, with cat-like reflexes, grab his harness like at the last moment. So he didn't hit it that hard, but I mean, he definitely hit it. So I think that he's feeling a little shook today.
Yeah, I'll put a seatbelt in Fitzy's little gift from Santa.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, so McKenna's
from
actually at
Santa
the
and
North
Douglas.
Pole. Yeah, McKenna and Douglas, they went to the North Pole to fix up. If you're wondering why there's no one around in the undisclosed location of the cabin, it's the North Pole, and we're there to make presents for Fitzy.
Yep.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yep.
He's
I had a
gonna
quick
appreciate
meeting.
that.
Quick meeting with, the big boys in the North Pole.
Santa
and the top elves, the head elves.
Well, and Mrs. Claus.
And Mrs. Claus. If you guys didn't know this, I'm just telling you like a little insider secret. Mrs. Claus, in fact, does run the place, but she doesn't like the fame. So she
we all knew that.
She asked not to talk about her too much. Yeah.
Okay, we got to get Lara to her things. So we're going to sign off. You may hear about it at some point if all goes well, I guess.
Give Mrs. Claus my best. I know you guys are getting drinks later tonight.
Yeah. I was invited over to their home.
The Clauses. That's so nice.
Yeah, the Clauses. Maybe they have a hot kid. That
you could get the heir.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the heir of the Santa Claus throne.
You're gonna be future Mrs. Claus.
Oh my God. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Back up.
Oh my God, maybe they can come on our couples trip.
True. And Douglas is kind of a reindeer.
So true. All right. Okay, I don't want to jinx it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, love you guys.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.